Hello, and welcome to English in Fluency. My name is Alex, and I'm so glad you've chosen to spend some time with me today. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through your phone, maybe late at night when the house is quiet? You see pictures of an old friend on a beautiful vacation, a colleague who just got a big promotion, or a stranger online who seems to have the perfect family, the perfect home, and the perfect life. And as you look at these pictures, a strange feeling starts to creep in. It's a quiet, heavy feeling in your chest. You start to look at your own life, your own room, your own accomplishments, and suddenly, they feel small. They feel less important. You start wondering, why isn't my life like that? What am I doing wrong? If you have ever felt this way, even for a moment, then I want you to know that you are not alone. This experience, this habit of looking at others and measuring our own lives against theirs, is something almost every single person on this planet does. It's a very human thing to do. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's good for us. In fact, this constant comparison can be one of the biggest obstacles to our own happiness and progress. Today, we are going to talk about something incredibly important. We are going to explore how to gently turn our focus away from the lives of others and bring it back to where it belongs, on ourselves. This is not about being selfish. It's about being self-aware and self-compassionate. It's about building a stronger, happier you from the inside out. So, find a comfortable place, maybe grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's begin this journey together. This will be a listening practice session, so try to relax and just absorb the words. I'll speak clearly and at a steady pace, so you can improve your English while we explore this very important topic. To truly understand how to stop comparing ourselves to others, we first need to understand why we do it in the first place. This isn't a new problem that started with the internet or social media. It's a deeply rooted part of our human nature. For thousands of years, humans lived in small tribes. In these tribes, it was very important to know your place in the group. Comparing yourself to others was a survival skill. You needed to know who was stronger, who was a better hunter, or who was more skilled at making tools. This comparison helped people understand their role, learn from others, and ensure the safety and success of the tribe. So, you see, this instinct to look at what others are doing is not a personal weakness. It's an old program running in our brains. It's a leftover from a time when our survival depended on it. The problem is that today, we don't live in small tribes of 100 people. We live in a global village of billions. Our brains, which were designed to compare us to a small, familiar group, are now constantly exposed to the highlight reels of millions of people online. We see the very best moments of everyone's lives, carefully selected and edited to look perfect. We see the end results of years of hard work, but we don't see the struggle, the failures, or the long, boring hours that went into it. Our ancient brain doesn't understand this difference. It sees these perfect images and thinks, everyone is doing better than me. I am falling behind. This creates a constant feeling of not being good enough, a sense of anxiety that can be truly draining. It's like trying to run a race where you can see the finish lines of a million other runners, but you can't see your own. You just keep running, feeling tired and lost, without a clear direction. Let's think about this for a moment. Imagine you are learning to play the guitar. You have been practicing for a few weeks, and you are starting to learn your first few chords. You feel proud of your progress. Your fingers hurt a little, but you can play a simple song, and it makes you happy. Then you go online and you see a video of a 10-year-old child playing the guitar like a rock star with incredible speed and skill. What happens to that feeling of pride you had? For many of us, it disappears. Suddenly, our own progress feels insignificant. We might think, "I'll never be that good. Why do I even bother?" This is the trap of comparison. It steals our joy. It takes the personal satisfaction we get from our own journey and replaces it with feelings of inadequacy and discouragement. The joy of learning, the simple pleasure of making music, is lost because we measured our Chapter 1 against someone else's Chapter 20. The impact of this is not just a fleeting bad mood. When it becomes a habit, this constant comparison can have serious effects on our mental well-being. It can lead to feelings of envy, which is the desire to have what someone else has. It can also lead to resentment, a bitter feeling of unfairness. These emotions are toxic. They don't motivate us to do better. They just make us feel worse about ourselves and our lives. Over time, this can erode our self-esteem, which is our overall opinion of ourselves. We start to believe that our worth as a person is determined by how we measure up to others, which is a game we can never win, because there will always be someone who is better than us at something. This is a very important point, so I want to repeat it. There will always be someone who is more successful, more talented, or more fortunate than you in some area, and there will always be someone who you are more successful, more talented, or more fortunate than. It's a meaningless comparison. The only comparison that truly matters is the one between you today and you yesterday. Now, let's make this a little more practical. I want you to listen carefully to a short story. Let's imagine two people, both named Maria. The first Maria works in an office. Every day she sees her co-worker, David, get praise from their boss. David seems to close deals effortlessly. He's charismatic and confident. Maria starts to watch David closely. She compares her own quiet, methodical work style to his outgoing personality. She tells herself, "I need to be more like David. I need to be more outgoing." So, she tries to change. She forces herself to make small talk and be more vocal in meetings, even though it makes her feel anxious and unnatural. Her work starts to suffer because she's so focused on trying to be someone she's not. She feels exhausted, and her confidence drops even lower because she can't be a perfect copy of David. She is stuck in a cycle of comparison and self-criticism. Now, let's think about the second Maria. She also works in the same office and sees David's success. At first, she feels a little pang of envy. It's a natural human reaction. But instead of focusing on David, she decides to focus on herself. She asks herself, "What are my strengths?" She realizes that while she isn't as outgoing as David, she is incredibly organized and detail-oriented. She is very good at planning projects and making sure nothing is missed. Instead of trying to become David, she decides to focus on becoming a better version of herself. She takes an online course in project management to improve her skills. She talks to her boss about taking on more responsibilities that play to her strengths. Soon, people start to notice her incredible reliability and her ability to manage complex projects flawlessly. She doesn't get praise for being charismatic like David, but she gets praise for her unique skills. She feels confident and fulfilled because she is growing in her own way. Now, take a moment to think. Which Maria do you think is happier? Which one is more likely to be successful in the long run? The story of the two Marias shows us a critical choice we have every day. We can either look at others and feel like we are not enough, or we can look at others, perhaps feel inspired, and then turn our focus back to our own unique path and our own unique strengths. This is the fundamental shift we are talking about today. It's about moving from comparison to self-focus. So, how do we begin to make this shift? It sounds simple, but in a world that is constantly encouraging us to look at others, it can be a real challenge. The first and most powerful tool we have is self-awareness. We cannot change a habit if we are not even aware that we are doing it. Self-awareness is the practice of paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment. It's like turning a gentle, curious spotlight onto your own mind. Most of the time, our comparison habit runs on autopilot. We do it without even thinking. We scroll through social media, and the negative thoughts just pop into our heads automatically. The first step is to simply notice when this is happening. Let's try a little exercise. For the rest of today, or maybe just for the next hour, I want you to be a detective of your own thoughts. Your mission is to catch the comparison thoughts. When you find yourself looking at someone, whether it's a person in real life or on a screen, and you feel that familiar pang of envy or inadequacy, just pause. Don't judge yourself for having the thought. Don't feel bad about it. Just gently say to yourself, "Ah, there it is. That's a comparison thought." That's it. That is the entire exercise. Just notice it. By simply noticing the thought, you create a small space between you and the thought. In that space, you have a choice. You can choose to believe the thought and let it spiral into negativity, or you can choose to let it go. You can say, "Interesting thought," and then gently redirect your attention to something else. For example, if you see a picture of a friend's new car and you think, "My car is so old and embarrassing," first, notice the thought. Okay, that's comparison. Then, instead of dwelling on it, you could shift your focus. You could think about something you are grateful for about your car. "My car is old, but it's reliable, and it gets me to work every day." Or you could simply shift your focus to the present moment. Notice the feeling of the chair you're sitting in, or the taste of the coffee you're drinking. This simple act of noticing and redirecting is incredibly powerful. It's like training a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger your ability to manage your thoughts becomes. This practice of noticing our thoughts is a form of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a word you may have heard before. It simply means paying attention to the present moment, on purpose, without judgment. We spend so much of our lives thinking about the past, replaying mistakes, or worrying about the future, planning and stressing. We also spend a lot of time thinking about other people's lives. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing our attention back to the here and now, back to our own body, our own breath, our own life. It's a way of anchoring ourselves in our own reality, instead of getting lost in the curated realities of others. Let's try a very simple mindfulness exercise together right now. You can do this sitting down or even lying down. Just get comfortable. If you feel safe doing so, you can close your eyes. If not, just let your gaze rest softly on a point in front of you. Now, Bring your attention to your breath. Don't try to change it. Just notice it. Notice the feeling of the air entering your nostrils. Is it cool or is it warm? Follow the breath as it travels down into your lungs. Feel your chest or your belly gently rise with the inhale, and then feel it fall with the exhale. Just stay with this for a few moments. Inhale and exhale. Your mind will probably wander. It will start thinking about your to-do list, or something someone said to you earlier, or what you look like doing this exercise. That's completely normal. That's what minds do. When you notice your mind has wandered, gently and without judgment, just guide your attention back to your breath. Every time you bring your attention back, you are strengthening your focus. Inhale and exhale. Notice the sounds around you. Don't label them as good or bad. Just notice them as pure sensation. The hum of a computer, the sound of traffic outside, the ticking of a clock. They are all just part of this present moment. Now, bring your attention to the feeling of your body. Notice the points of contact between your body and the chair or the floor. Feel the weight of your body. You are here, right now, in this moment. Take one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly open your eyes if they were closed. How do you feel? Perhaps a little calmer, a little more centered. This is the feeling of being present in your own life. This simple practice, done for just a few minutes each day, can dramatically change your relationship with your thoughts. It creates that crucial space that allows you to choose focus over comparison. It reminds you that your life is happening right here, right now, not on someone else's screen. Another powerful step in focusing on yourself is to get very clear about what you actually want in your own life. So often, our desires are shaped by what we see around us. We see others buying big houses, so we think we should want a big house. We see people getting promoted to management positions, so we think we should want to be a manager. But we rarely stop to ask ourselves, is this what I truly want? Does this align with my personal values? Your values are the things that are most important to you at your core. They are your personal guiding principles. Maybe your core values are creativity, or community, or adventure, or security, or learning. When your goals are aligned with your values, you feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment. When your goals are based on comparing yourself to others, you often end up feeling empty, even if you achieve them. Let's take some time to think about this. I want you to imagine your life in 5 years. Don't think about what your parents want for you or what your friends are doing. Just imagine your ideal day. What time do you wake up? What do you do in the morning? What kind of work are you doing? Is it work that feels meaningful to you? Who are you spending your time with? What do you do for fun in the evenings? Try to get a really clear picture in your mind. This vision is a clue to your personal values and what a fulfilling life looks like for you. Now, a listening task. I want you to try and remember 3 things I just asked you to imagine about your ideal day. I asked you to think about what you do in the morning, what kind of work you are doing, and who you are spending time with. Remembering these details helps you practice active listening. Once you have a clearer idea of what you want for your own life, you can start setting goals that are about your own progress, not about keeping up with others. A personal goal is very different from a comparative goal. A comparative goal sounds like, I want to earn more money than my friend John, or I want to have a nicer car than my neighbor. The focus is external. A personal goal sounds like, I want to save enough money to feel financially secure, or I want to learn a new skill that will make my work more interesting. The focus is internal. It's about your own growth and your own well-being. When you set personal goals, you are in control. Your success doesn't depend on what anyone else is doing. You are running your own race. A great way to set effective goals is to make them specific and measurable. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, which is very vague, you could say, I will walk for 30 minutes, 3 times a week. You can clearly measure whether you have achieved this or not. Instead of saying, I want to learn Spanish, you could say, I will use a language app for 15 minutes every day and have 1 conversation practice per week. This clarity gives you a roadmap. It breaks down a big ambition into small, manageable steps. And every time you complete one of those small steps, you get a sense of accomplishment. This builds momentum and self-confidence. You start to see that you are capable of making progress, and this feeling is so much more satisfying than the temporary validation you might get from trying to impress others. Let's practice this. Think of one area in your life where you'd like to improve. It could be your health, your career, a hobby, or your relationships. Now, try to create one small, specific, and measurable goal for yourself in that area. For example, if you want to read more, your goal could be, I will read for 10 pages every night before I go to sleep. Pause for a moment and think of your own goal. Having your own goals, based on your own values, gives you a direction. It gives you a compass. When you feel the pull to look at what others are doing, you can remind yourself of your own path. You can say, that's nice for them, but I have my own journey. I have my own goals to focus on. An essential part of this journey is curating your environment. Your environment includes the people you spend time with, the information you consume, and the physical spaces you inhabit. All of these things have a huge influence on your mindset. Let's start with the most obvious one in our modern world: social media. Social media is not inherently bad. It can be a wonderful tool for connecting with loved ones and learning new things. However, it is also designed to make us compare ourselves to others. The algorithms show us the most popular, most beautiful, and most successful content. It's a constant stream of other people's perfect moments. If you find that using certain apps consistently makes you feel bad about yourself, you have the power to change that. It's time for a digital declutter. Go through the accounts you follow. For each account, ask yourself a simple question. Does this content inspire me and make me feel good? Or does it make me feel envious and inadequate? Be honest with yourself. If an account consistently triggers negative feelings of comparison, it is perfectly okay to unfollow or mute it. You are not being mean. You are protecting your own mental peace. This is an act of self-care. Think of your social media feed like your home. You wouldn't invite people into your home who constantly made you feel bad about yourself. So why would you allow their content into your mind? Fill your feed with things that support your journey. Follow artists, writers, teachers, and creators who inspire you to learn and grow. Follow accounts that show realistic, diverse lives, not just a narrow vision of perfection. You can even use social media as a tool for your own goals. If you're learning to cook, follow food bloggers. If you're learning a language, follow tutors and other learners. Make your digital environment a place that serves you, rather than a place that drains you. Beyond the digital world, the people we spend our time with in real life have an even greater impact on us. There is a saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about the conversations you have with your friends and family. Are they focused on gossip and complaining about what others have? Or are they focused on growth, support, and shared interests? Spending time with people who are constantly comparing themselves to others, or who compare you to others, can be incredibly toxic. It keeps you locked in that same negative mindset. On the other hand, spending time with people who are secure in themselves, who celebrate your successes, and who are focused on their own paths can be incredibly uplifting. These are the people who will inspire you to focus on yourself. They won't judge you for your perceived flaws or shortcomings. They will encourage your unique strengths. This doesn't mean you have to cut all negative people out of your life. That's not always possible or desirable. But you can be mindful of how much time and energy you give to certain interactions. You can choose to steer conversations towards more positive topics. If a friend starts complaining about a mutual acquaintance's success, you could gently change the subject. You could say, "That's interesting. Hey, I wanted to ask you about that book you were reading. How is it?" You can set boundaries to protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who see you for who you are and support the person you are trying to become. True friends will celebrate your journey, not compare it to their own or anyone else's. This supportive network is like a shield that helps protect you from the culture of comparison. Now, let's talk about one of the most transformative practices you can adopt on this journey: celebrating your own progress. We are often so focused on the big goal, the final destination, that we forget to acknowledge the small steps we take along the way. We wait for the big promotion, the graduation day, or the finished project to feel proud of ourselves. But true, sustainable confidence is built on a foundation of small, consistent wins. The habit of comparison makes this worse. When we look at others, we see their final achievements, their mountaintops. We don't see the thousands of small, difficult steps they took to get there. So, we look at our own journey, which is full of small, sometimes messy steps, and we feel like we are failing. The solution is to become your own best cheerleader. At the end of each day or each week, take a few moments to reflect on what you have accomplished. This doesn't have to be something huge. Did you stick to your goal of walking for 30 minutes? Celebrate that. Did you learn 5 new words in English? Celebrate that. Did you have a difficult conversation that you were avoiding? Celebrate that. Did you feel the urge to compare yourself and choose to redirect your thoughts instead? That is a huge win. Celebrate it. You can do this by keeping a wins journal. Every night before bed, write down 3 to 5 things you did that day that you are proud of. It can be anything, no matter how small. This practice trains your brain to look for the positive. It forces you to see your own progress, rather than focusing on how far you still have to go or how far ahead others seem to be. It shifts your perspective from one of lack to one of accomplishment. Closely related to celebrating your progress is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is the simple act of being thankful for what you already have. Comparison thrives in a mindset of scarcity, a feeling that something is missing. Gratitude is the direct antidote to this. It cultivates a mindset of abundance, a feeling of being rich in what truly matters. When you are truly grateful for your own life, the lives of others become less of a measuring stick and more of a source of shared human experience. Like our other practices, gratitude is a skill you can develop. A simple way to do this is to start a gratitude list. Every day, think of 3 things you are grateful for. Again, they don't have to be big things. You can be grateful for the sun shining, a warm cup of coffee, a comfortable bed, a conversation with a friend, or the ability to listen to this audio and learn English. When you write these things down, try to really feel the gratitude in your body. Don't just make it a mechanical list. For example, if you write, "I am grateful for my cup of coffee," pause and think about it. Think about the warmth of the mug in your hands, the rich smell, the comforting taste. By connecting with the feeling, you make the practice much more powerful. Let's try it now. I want you to think of one thing, just one thing in your life right now, that you are grateful for. It could be the device you are listening on. It could be the quiet moment you have to yourself. It could be a person in your life. Just hold that one thing in your mind and feel a sense of thankfulness for it. This simple act can instantly shift your emotional state. When you are in a state of gratitude, it is almost impossible to feel envy at the same time. You are filling your mind with the goodness of your own life, leaving less room for comparisons to creep in. Let's pause here and do a quick listening comprehension check. I have talked about 2 very similar but distinct practices. One was about celebrating your own progress, and the other was about gratitude. Can you explain the difference in your own mind? The first, celebrating progress, is about acknowledging your actions and accomplishments, the things you do. The second, gratitude, is about being thankful for what you have, the things that are already present in your life. Both are incredibly important for building a strong inner world that is less affected by external comparisons. This is an important distinction to remember as you practice these skills. You need both to build a resilient and positive mindset. You celebrate what you are building, and you are grateful for the foundation you are building upon. This combination is a recipe for deep and lasting contentment. It creates a positive feedback loop. When you celebrate your wins, you feel more motivated. When you feel grateful, you feel more positive. This positive and motivated state makes you more likely to take actions that lead to more wins, which gives you more to be grateful for. And so the cycle continues, a beautiful upward spiral focused entirely on your own journey. I want to tell you another story to illustrate how these pieces fit together. Imagine a man named Tom who wants to become a better runner. He's inspired by his friend, who runs marathons. At first, Tom falls into the comparison trap. He goes for his first run, can only manage 1 kilometer before he is out of breath, and feels terrible. He looks at his friend's social media, where he posts his 20-kilometer runs, and Tom feels like a complete failure. He almost gives up. But then, he decides to try a different approach. He stops looking at his friend's running app. He unfollows marathon runners on social media. Instead, he follows some beginner running coaches who offer gentle, encouraging advice. He makes his own personal goal: to run for 15 minutes without stopping, no matter the distance. It's a specific, measurable goal that is about his own ability. The first week, he can only run for 5 minutes. But instead of feeling bad, he writes in his journal, "I ran for 5 minutes today. That's 5 minutes more than I did last month." He is celebrating his small win. The next week, he runs for 7 minutes. He celebrates again. He starts a gratitude practice. Each day, he writes down that he is grateful for his body's ability to move, for the fresh air he breathes on his runs, for the time he has to invest in his health. He's not thinking about the marathon anymore. He's focused on his 15-minute goal. After a few weeks, he finally runs for 15 minutes without stopping. The feeling of accomplishment is immense. It's his own victory, on his own terms. He achieved his personal goal. Later, he sees his friend and tells him about his achievement. His friend is genuinely happy for him. There is no jealousy or comparison, just mutual support. Tom realized that his running journey was never about beating his friend. It was about becoming a healthier, stronger version of himself. By shifting his focus inward, by setting a personal goal, by curating his environment, and by celebrating his progress, he found joy and success in his own unique journey. This process of shifting your focus is not about pretending that other people don't exist or that their achievements aren't real. It's about changing your relationship with that information. It's about learning to see the success of others not as a reflection of your failure, but simply as their story. You can learn to be happy for other people without feeling bad about yourself. This is a skill called comprehension, which is sometimes described as the opposite of jealousy. It's the feeling of joy you experience when you see another person succeeding or being happy. When you are secure in your own path and confident in your own worth, it becomes easier to feel this. When a colleague gets a promotion, instead of thinking, "Why not me?" you can genuinely think, "That's wonderful for them. They worked hard for that." This shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice. The next time you see someone else's success, whether online or in person, and you feel that familiar pang of comparison, try this. First, acknowledge your feeling. "I'm feeling a bit envious right now." Don't judge it, just name it. Then, consciously try to wish that person well. You can say it in your mind, "I wish them continued success and happiness." This might feel strange or unnatural at first, but it is a powerful way to retrain your brain. You are replacing a negative, self-defeating thought pattern with a positive, expansive one. You are choosing kindness, both for the other person and for yourself, because letting go of envy frees you from its heavy weight. It allows you to move forward with a lighter heart, free to focus on the things that truly matter for your own happiness. Remember that what you see of other people's lives is never the full story. It is a carefully curated and edited version. People post their victories, not their struggles. They share their beautiful vacation photos, not the arguments they had in the hotel room. They announce their new job, not the 10 rejection letters they received before it. We are comparing our behind-the-scenes footage with everyone else's highlight reel. It's an unfair and inaccurate comparison. When you find yourself idealizing someone else's life, remind yourself of this reality. Behind every perfect photo is a normal, imperfect human being with their own set of challenges, insecurities, and bad days. They worry about money, they have disagreements with their family, they feel unsure of themselves sometimes, just like you. Knowing this doesn't diminish their achievements, but it makes them more human. It helps to break the illusion of perfection that fuels so much of our comparison. Everyone is on their own complex journey, fighting battles you know nothing about. So be kind to them, and just as importantly, be kind to yourself. Your journey is unique. It's not supposed to look like anyone else's. Your timeline is your own. Some people find success early in life, others find it later. Some people's paths are straight and clear, while others are full of twists and turns. There is no one right way to live a life. The beauty is in the diversity of our experiences. Embrace your own story, with all its unique challenges and triumphs. It is the only one you have, and it is worthy of your full, undivided attention. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want to summarize the key ideas we've discussed. We started by understanding that comparing ourselves to others is a natural human instinct, but one that is not well suited to our modern, hyper-connected world. We talked about how this habit can steal our joy and damage our self-esteem. Then, we explored the practical steps we can take to shift our focus back to ourselves. We began with the power of self-awareness, simply noticing our comparison thoughts without judgment. We practiced a short mindfulness exercise to anchor ourselves in the present moment. We discussed the importance of defining our personal values and setting our own meaningful goals, goals that are about our growth, not about competition. We talked about curating our environment, both online and offline, to support our journey. This includes cleaning up our social media feeds and spending time with supportive, positive people. We learned about the transformative habits of celebrating our small wins and practicing gratitude, which together build a strong, positive inner world. Finally, we touched on learning to be happy for others and remembering that we are only ever seeing a small, edited part of anyone else's life. All of these strategies work together to help you run your own race, to find fulfillment and happiness on your own terms. This is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when you fall back into old habits of comparison. That's okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. When you notice you've spent an hour scrolling and feeling bad about yourself, don't beat yourself up. That's the old way of thinking. The new way is to be self-compassionate. You can say to yourself, "Okay, I got caught in the comparison trap for a little while. It happens. Now, what is one small thing I can do to bring the focus back to myself?" Maybe you can go for a short walk. Maybe you can write down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe you can work on your personal goal for just 5 minutes. Be gentle with yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a good friend who was struggling. Your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you will ever have. Nurturing it with kindness, patience, and focused attention is the greatest investment you can make in your own well-being. Focusing on yourself is the ultimate act of empowerment. It is you taking back control of your own happiness. It is you deciding that your worth is not determined by external validation, but by your own character, your own efforts, and your own growth. It is a quiet revolution of the self, and it is a journey worth taking. Thank you for joining me, Alex, here on English in Fluency. I hope this session has been helpful for both your English listening practice and your personal well-being. The path to focusing on yourself is a continuous practice, a daily choice to turn your attention inward. I encourage you to choose one small idea from our discussion today and try to apply it in your life this week. Maybe it's the practice of noticing your thoughts, or starting a gratitude list, or unfollowing one account that doesn't make you feel good. Small steps lead to big changes over time. If you found this session valuable, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss our future lessons. We explore many topics like this to help you improve your English in a meaningful way. And I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below. You could share which part of our conversation was most helpful for you, or you could share one small goal you have for yourself. Sharing your journey can inspire others, and reading your comments truly inspires me. Thank you once again for your time and your attention. Remember to be kind to yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye for now.